Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you enjoyed your day so far, and today we're going to talk about cheaters running rampant in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We are only a few days away now from the first Challengers Cup this weekend, the 5th and the 6th of December, and a few days after that we've got the Scouting Series. A lot of pro teams going to be keeping a close eye on this one to see exactly which good players on the amateur side they might want to pick up to be their substitute players. But the Challenger Cups, these other online events, certainly may have some cheating problems presenting themselves. This has been a big topic over the last couple of weeks here, and it's very clear indeed that if not wall hacks, if not aim hacks even, war hacks are certainly a possibility, and is that something that you can even mitigate, especially now on a PC environment with no anti-cheat in place? Is this going to have significant effects on what the challenger scene looks like, or some of the results of these tournaments look like, and potentially even who's in consideration to get involved in a professional spot? Because a lot is on the line nowadays, and if no anti-cheat is around the corner, this is going to be a major topic that recurs throughout the year. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for doing that. Firstly, this from Enable. So we saw him like sign some contract the other day. We're not exactly sure what direction he's going to be going in. Possibly he might be joining the 100 Thieves Warzone team, right? Because he got rated. He got Tommy joining relatively recently, and well, they're playing the Subliners $100,000 Warzone tourney with Enable, rated, and Tommy. Is that a possibility that he joins that team? It certainly makes sense in my opinion. I think I talked about that possibility at the time. Also get this from Crim, got some super announcements this week. Think you'll like them all. Stay tuned, so we'll have to stay tuned for what Crim exactly is up to. Also saw a tweet as well from Scrap saying he was like in a meeting or something, therefore he had to push back his stream. I went back onto that tweet this morning to get it for this video, and it had since been deleted, so maybe that's also implying that there's something going on with him and the Paris Legion. We also get this as well then, so let's crack things on. Projected Scouting Series invite list. Ex-CDL players on the left, amateur players on the right, put together by Cronut CDL Intel. Players have until Friday to respond whether they want to play, and then at that point the invites will be dished out to people further down the list in terms of pro points on the amateur side. So this series is going to be on the 15th to the 18th. If the format effectively is that the pro teams get to decide, they get to pick like a team of 4 or something a few days in advance. Those players get to like practice and scrim together, and then they effectively play like a long scrim series against the other teams that the other organizations have drafted and the other coaching staff have drafted. And then okay, like the coaching staff for each individual organization gets to go in the team scrims and everything and just see how these guys are playing, how they're looking. And I don't think there's like a winner at the end of the day, but it's just for the pro teams to get an opportunity to look at these guys and see what exactly is going to work. So this is in the North American side. There's exactly the same thing in the European side as well. So there's 64 players in the North American Scouting Series, 64 players in the European Scouting Series, going on December 15th through the 18th. Now, I'm not saying cheating is necessarily going to be an issue in this one, but yeah, of course, like the coaching staff being in there and everything definitely doesn't exactly help out with that. But certainly, on the other side, these Challengers Cups that are going on is certainly a problem which is on people's minds. So these are the players, just so you guys are aware of it. It's pretty interesting given the fact that a number of these players will probably end up on pro teams, right? But things might not be quite set in stone. So it's kind of interesting if you're a guy like Aqua, and it seems like you might be getting signed, for example, to to the Paris Legion, but you're now sitting here thinking, okay, like what exactly is going on? I have enough pro points for the North American side to actually play in this Scouting Series. I'm not exactly sure if Paris are going to sign me because things have been a bit dodgy over there. Like, they're not exactly going to trust the Paris Legion to get everything set in stone. Similar thing with a C, maybe he could be on the Subliners bench. Similar thing with Temp, he could be on the Los Angeles Thieves, slacked on the Mutineers. A number of these players that could well be on Pro League teams that are probably sitting here thinking, okay, do I play in this? Do I say yes? Do I say no? Just in case things don't work out. And of course, what you will notice is a number of players here are certainly not going to be playing in this, right? Like Mbos is here because he had enough pro points from the Call of Duty Modern Warfare season, being a substitute on Chicago Huntsmen. So he's unlikely to play. Enable, of course, isn't going to play. JCap, Karma, and some of these guys, Tommy, of course, now a Warzone streamer, so I don't imagine he's going to be playing in this one. So a lot of opportunities are probably going to become open when these guys don't say yes from the amateur players, and these are some of the amateur guys that are predicted to be placed into that top 33 bracket as it is right now, but there'll probably be a few more spots down here just below this. But one of the major question marks around this Scouting Series and around the Challengers events and potentially the Pro events as well is the cheating issue. This season we've moved on to PC. that definitely opens the door for it being easier for people to kind of sneak things in behind the scenes, especially because this is kind of the first year that we're doing this. It's not like we're a FATED, it's not like we're a, ESEA or a, Riot Games, for example, with Valorant and the Vanguard anti-cheat and FACEIT's anti-cheat and ESEA's anti-cheat for the CSGO side. We don't really have that yet in place, right? Like, Activision's anti-cheat has been certainly very questionable. They have been trying to shut down some things on the cheating side for maybe the Warzone side, but yeah, it's certainly not ideal, and this is a big question mark, of course, if you're, well, someone like Singularity Drill, coaching some of the Singularity guys on the amateur side, thinking, okay, these guys we're playing against, how do I know if these guys are just, like, perfectly legit, or something dodgy is going on? And there's, of course, been a few dodgy clips coming out. It's not a surprise that people are now on PC exploiting some of this stuff, and really the question is, as Merk will look at in a second, yes, it might not be super obvious. I mean, obviously the aimer hacks and stuff like that are pretty obvious, but yeah, something like a wall hack and just being able to turn that on for a couple of seconds during a crucial round of Search and Destroy, that might make the difference in a game. And how is that even going to be possible to detect if the anti-cheat software isn't there, and yeah, the referees maybe don't know what they're doing, as we're going to look at here in a second. So yeah, Tat says, look, Cold War needs an anti-cheat, tourneys will become unplayable, Challengers Cup is in a week, every day there's another hacker on the timeline, going to be great fun. Something needs to be done to prevent these hacks from being used. It's going to suck to see legitimate talented players in the Challenger side trying to get their spot on the Pro League team, potentially getting overrun, I suppose, by players that are actually just using cheats. And where's this guy come from? Is he legit? Is he cheating? That's a question that I really wish we didn't have to ask, right? It's always been a thing in Counter-Strike. A guy like Rops, for example, if you guys follow CS at all, back in the day when he was coming up, everyone was like, okay, this guy's cheating, there's no way he's legit. He actually flew out to a LAN environment and played on LAN in front of Carrigan or something to prove that he was legit. And yeah, hopefully that's not what we have to do this time around. But that's the question, right? When cheating exists, players that are incredibly talented but don't cheat all of a sudden have a question mark hanging over their head, somewhat like Awakening, I suppose, from the previous season. Invidian says, look, at least you're in the Pro League. I doubt you'll have to, I doubt you'll be finding any cheaters. We will have to deal with them in the first round of challenges every single time. And these 2Ks and stuff, you can argue as well, are usually first few rounds, no problem at all, just smoking everyone. Now you've potentially got cheaters in these matches. What are you going to do about it? Giving proof to the referees is going to be difficult. I mean, it's just a question that you really didn't, wish you had to deal with. And as Niall says, look, the lack of game knowledge the admins have is kind of concerning when it comes to cheaters in these cups. And well, this is a clip that came out a few days ago from Onslaught. This is from UltraCod here in, this is from Theatre. And I will admit that Theatre does kind of look sometimes dodgy. And but, this seems like he's snapping onto target a little bit too easily, right? But at the end of the day, if this is an aim hack, if this is not an aim hack, it doesn't really matter, because the point still stands that, the anti-cheat just doesn't really exist in this game. And even if this isn't like an aim hack situation, just some sort of Theatre glitch or something, it's certainly very possible that, players are using wall hacks in the game and just being able to get some information on players all the way across the map. And as Clayster says to attach, I stopped playing tourneys after I lost to Jim Bob Sniper, who was reading every peak like he was Neo from the Matrix. And definitely an issue. And we got this as well from Deserto Indo a few days ago. People on TikTok just posting up that they're just straight hacking, as you can see right here, the red dots and stuff. So, is it possible that people are going to do this in the Challenger side? I mean, it's not out of the question, right? But the difficulty thing is, for my opinion, is that, okay, we're probably not going to have obvious aim hackers in this thing. But given how hard fought a lot of these Call of Duty matches can be, a very small tweak, a very small bit of information could completely flip around. And that's kind of what Merk gets into right here. So he says, look, sucks we've had to deal with this for so long. Really, really worried about the Challenger scene. Fingers crossed something like an anti-cheat is in the works. Do you think the CDL rush giving Challengers the PC option obviously makes more sense for the pro scene, but maybe a couple of more years on console for the amateurs would have been better, at least maybe until LANs are back. The last thing we need is more separation in players between the league and the Challenger side, which I think is a fair point from Joey. I'm confident that with the proper officiating, cheating won't have too big of an impact, but even with the proper officiating, Joey's saying that, okay, it's very possible that it still has some degree of impact. As Merk says to finish off the thread, right, problem is someone decent can absolutely hide wall hacks at a high level, and making that judgment may screw someone over who was legit. And there really isn't a winning solution on the CDL side. This is the main concern for me. You're in some of these amateur tournaments. I mean, what's going on? You go to a Game 5 Search and Destroy, someone has their PC on, they have a wall hack, which is never going to get detected by an anti-cheat, and they decide, okay, it's round 11, or it's a crucial round in the game, we're in a 3 versus 4, maybe we need to find out where the enemies are, flip the wall hack on for a second, know where the enemies are, decide that you can go A instead of B because they're going for a B stack this round. This is the kind of stuff which is probably impossible to officiate, because you can just say, okay, we just had a good read, we heard this guy over this side, we decided to go to A, but in fact, I mean, maybe you just flip the wall hack back on, right? And who's going to police this? Who's going to stop this? It's a major question right now, and the anti-cheat from Activision side is certainly something which needs to be considered very quickly indeed, because the Challenger side is probably going to be an absolute mess this season as a result of this. I'm sure that some of the players are already testing this, already practicing this out, because these Challengers Cups have a major impact on how well somebody does, right? And of course, as Merk says, somebody decent could just flip on the wall hack, right? There's so many good amateur players that are very talented with a controller, now in this PC environment, playing still with controller, of course, that the difference between one of these amateur guys getting picked up, like, you know, some of these guys that have been picked up last season, like Mac and Awakening, these type of players, some of these amateurs may be looking at this and thinking, okay, like, I need to make sure I'm the one getting picked up by these pro league teams. The way to do that might be just to flip on a wall hack at some point during the game, make sure you're the team that wins that crucial match, and therefore you're the name in consideration. You might not be any more talented than some of the other players or less talented, but there's certainly the incentive exists there, and well, it's certainly something that I'm concerned about, and I think that well, Activision Blizzard will have to think about. Just to finish off the video, this from the Esports Observer yesterday, Activision Blizzard and team owners are currently discussing reducing the amount owed for franchises in the Overwatch League and the Call of Duty League, once again according to sources. We talked about the deferred payments, I think, a few months ago on this channel. Now it looks like Activision Blizzard and the teams are saying, look, we don't want to pay you this much money, and maybe Blizzard are being like, okay, like, maybe that's fair given the world situation right now. I wonder exactly what it'll be, because initially, like, okay, $25 million paid over something like a 3-5 year period. Maybe they're saying, okay, like, you can pay us less each year, and time value of money will benefit you, or, you know, what are they exactly thinking? It's an interesting one, but I'll certainly be staying tuned for all the latest developments and keep you up to date here on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Take care, and I will see you next time.